Hi, I am Little Crochet. I am a speedrunner for Triangle Strategy and I run New Game Plus all endings. Today I am going to go through a commentated run of Roland's ending, which is the fastest path so far. And it did recently come out on PC, so less load times and smoother frames. So time will start when I load up, when I select the difficulty of this new game file. And without further ado, let's begin. So 3, 2, 1, go. So I won't be able to explain much for this first battle. It does come up within a minute, I believe. I will try to explain it afterwards. But we are going to be using the strat, which is called the Sunfall strat, for a lot of the maps in this game. So the Sunfall strat is good because it is a very big AoE. It's also a lot of damage to enemies as well. And we're going to be using that for the first couple of fights, and then we'll be switching up gears for the third one. So this very first battle, we're going to be facing off against some bandits who have come to ambush us at the pier. And sorry, just give me one moment. Yep. We'll be introducing some of the major players in the game. Apologies that I don't speak a lot during the battles. I'm going to be trying to concentrate on getting my menuing correct. So who we're controlling now is Erika, and we're going to be bring her up here. We'll also face her back towards the two red-haired enemies there, so that we can lure Trish into. We're just going to chip down their HP a little bit, because even though it is does a lot of damage, it's still not quite enough to clear them off. And they're now both down. Now we just got to clear up some of the little stragglers here. Gila is the healer. She will pop up on a lot of maps by default, but we do not use her at all. So just for safety, I'm going to give Serenoa a bit of a boost to his accuracy. If you wanted to go a little bit faster, you wouldn't up his accuracy there. But there is a chance that he will miss, which is slow, but this just guarantees that he will hit. Alright, so there was a lot going on that battle. I guess what I should explain first is the extra menu that you saw coming up with a bunch of cards popping up as well. They're called Quietuses. So Quietuses are used before your unit moves, and they can do a bunch of different things. What we use a lot in New Game Plus is Lightwave, which lets you move your units up to 10 space away. So one unit up to 10 spaces away, sorry. Fleet-footed, which was used in that battle there to give all of your units an extra 2 movement on top of their regular movement. We use Battle Cry, so units have TP, which is kind of like their MP, which is what most people would be familiar with. So I can skip that. And in tandem, so the other thing you might have also noticed is that Sunfall takes a turn to charge. So we can actually speed that process up by using in tandem, which lets us move a unit to move right after the current unit's turn. The other Quietuses that I use as well is Missed Opportunity, which causes an enemy unit to stop for a turn. There's also Critical Blow, which guarantees a critical hit on a unit as well. And I think that's all of them. A lot of New Game Plus is skipping through cutscenes and skipping through exploration phases. So casually you would be exploring areas, talking to people, collecting items. We've got everything we need, so we don't need to do all that, which is great. Most cutscenes can be skipped. Just ones where there is a choice, which is what I'm doing here, cannot be skipped. Anything where an important item is shown, or if you get a new character joining or leaving your party, those cutscenes unfortunately cannot be skipped. But everything else is skippable, which is nice. You do also can see that there's a lot of menuing going on as well here. Coming up, we have another map where we have to defeat all enemies in the area. It's an arena fight. At this point in time, the story is fairly light. Not many heavy things going on at the moment. And things are still pretty fun at the moment. The other talking point I should bring up is you'll see convictions pop up as well. Again, they are not important for New Game Plus. They're important for New Game, but in New Game Plus, they're just numbers that pop up and don't affect anything in the run at all. So this next map, we'll be using the Sunfall strat again, but we'll be introducing Quahag into the mix. Quahag is a time mage. He's used quite frequently during the run because he can move units around and displace a lot of units. So he's a great utility character. And we'll be positioning our units so that we can get pretty much everyone in the Sunfall AoE. So we're going to move Erika right up here, center the Sunfall on herself. A lot of the units should be attracted to her because she's a pretty tasty target here. We're going to chip down those two bosses there. Unfortunately, this damage still isn't quite enough to take them down. So here we're going to use in tandem. We're going to get that last rogue into the AoE. And the last thing we're going to do is we're going to bring Roland up and just finish off the rest. Bosses like to give a farewell speech as well when they die. So the speech bubbles you'll see pop up is what is them saying something which I can't quite remember. So, continuing on with convictions, we are going to have a convictions of scale vote coming up right next to choose where we're going to go. So the choices are to head northward to Esfros or head, I think, eastward to Hyzant. So in this choice, it is the default choice, which is great. We can just skip through to the little cutscene that plays. And the reason why we're heading to Hyzant is because that battle is a defeat a singular boss whose name is Plinius. As opposed to if we go to Esfros, it is defeat all enemies. So the next map, when it comes up, will be fairly quick. There will be some votes which are not a default vote, and we'll need to convince some members of the party, also a singular member of the party, which is usually the swing vote that we'll try to convince to go the way that we want them to go, usually to maps that are faster. But yeah, this one is nice and fast for us. Next up, I'll talk about accessories on characters. I'm not sure how much I'll be able to get through. I'll try to get through as quick as possible though. So you'll notice that Erika moves first on every single map that she is placed in. And the reason is because she has an item called the Vanguard Scarf equipped, which means that regardless of her speed stat, she will go first on every single map every time you deploy her. We also have equipped a magic bracelet on her, which just ups her magic damage just a little bit more. And we do have appropriate accessories on a lot of the characters as well. So Serenoa has strength boosting, And accessories, Roland has accuracy and strength. So Roland is very well known in the game to miss a lot of his attacks. So we just need to give him a little bit of a boost in that area. Most utility characters have speed boosting stats equipped on them, just to get them to go faster. And I hope you're ready for this map. There's nothing we need to do, we just need to get in there. It's gonna go by real quick, so we're gonna lightwave Erika right over to Plinius. And we're gonna finish him off in one hit. And that's the map done. So there's a couple of maps like that where we can exploit the victory condition. This upcoming map, we can't do that. It is showcasing the mines area. And there's a couple of fun ones coming up in the game. So here we're, well, we would be recruiting Corentin if he wasn't already recruited, but we can't skip the cutscene, so. Okay, so the next map that I was just talking about is the mines map. So we'll come across this map another time. So we're just seeing a little preview of it. It's pretty basic at the moment. There's not much going on in there, but there's an insurgence happening. And we're here to have a look and investigate. At first shop, we're gonna have a little visit to the Rosellan village here. You'll notice that they all have pink hair like Erika does. And this lineage is important to the story. I won't get into it right now. But a brief history on the mines map is that Esfros, Glenbrook, which is the main city-state where the Wolfort domain is, and Hyzant are working together to have some stuff mined out. So we'll be heading there shortly. The mines map is also a defeat all enemies map. And it'll be the first time we'll be having an NPC available to the party. So that's him there. His name is Dragan. He is also a fire mage. He is Erika's cousin, I believe. So there is a chance that he won't do what we need him to do, but I think I have it down where he should. We'll see when it happens. Just gonna do some menuing here, so I'm going to be, again, a little bit quiet, and I do apologize for that. Oops. Nope. We need Eridor, you are not supposed to be here. Sorry, this is a little bit slow. Milo, nope, Milo, Erika, Benedict. Who am I missing? Medina. I don't know why I forgot about her. Okay, so similar strat to what we've been doing previously. We're going to be using the Sunfall strat for Erika. With Erika, sorry. This time we're going to be using Now, so that's an ability from Benedict to activate the Sunfall though. And the reason is that we need to use in tandem just a little bit later. So, whoops, in tandem now. Alright, so, okay, cool. Dragan did what we wanted him to, which is perfect. So this map will be finishing up now. Okay, next couple chapters we're going to have a couple of fun, quick ones for you. So this next map we are going to be heading back to Glenbrook Castle, but we're going to be doing it in a different way, I guess, than what most casual players would think of. So the win requirement of the next map is to get Roland to the end goal as fast as possible, basically. So in order to do that, we're going to be using, again, Lightwave and Fleet-footed, just to get us over there as fast as possible. A fun little thing that is that happens with Lightwave is when you pass barriers, it doesn't activate reinforcements. So if you break down barriers in this next map, reinforcements will come up, which is slower. It has a little scene that plays and you have to wait for them to all pop up before you can do anything else. But by using the Quietus, we can get through that pretty quickly. This map will be over in 2 turns. So we're going to be using twofold turn on Benedict, which does as what you would think it does. It gives the next character 2 turns on their next turn. So we're just boosting everything here, and we're going to use Rush, which is a movement ability of Roland, just to get through. And that's the map cleared. The next map should also be fairly quick, not 2 turns quick, but still quick. So the next map is we are escaping from the castle. A bunch of stuff happens, a bunch of cutscenes happen in the castle where Roland's family, so Roland's the crown prince, his family gets cut down. There's a lot of death happening. So once we realize that we're a little bit out of our depth, we need to escape. So the win requirement of the next map is to clear all of the enemies on the bridge. So what we have learnt so far is that we can use Lightwave to cross barriers that we're not normally supposed to cross. And we can also use twofold turn. So we're going to be doing a similar strategy, except we're going to be using Erika in this particular instance. Just because Erika will do more damage, and she's also got the Vanguard Scarf, so she'll go first. So no setup here. There's a couple of times when units do nothing, but it should still be fairly quick. Oops, we just need to go forward. Anna does nothing. We need to in tandem. So we're going to give her a boost to her movement as well, just because she can't move that far normally. And we're going to go straight through this gate. There's only 2 enemies here. So if you open up the gate, reinforcements will pop up. Again, that's slow. We don't want that to happen. And that's another map passed. Okay, next map coming up is our first, I guess, serious Scales of Conviction vote. It's a vote that matters if you're doing the golden path. The route that I have figured out for both golden and non-golden paths is it is safe for both. So regardless of whether or not you're doing golden path or just a regular ending, you can use the same route as well. So we will need to convince Benedict to vote the way we want to, and in this particular case the choices are defend Roland, so you stay in Wolffoot and defend Roland, or you give up Roland to the Aspharos, which are occupying Glenbrook Castle. The reason why we are choosing to defend Roland in this particular case is because the next map is faster than giving up Roland. So it is, well, it was, if you weren't using my strats, it would be better to go, I guess, to Forks Domain. But with how I've done it, it's safe either way. So we're just going to have a brief discussion here. The game forces us to go outside and explore the area. They want us to talk to the citizens to gain their insight. It's just a little bit of a time waste, unfortunately. So we head back in almost immediately. And we need to talk to Benedict. You also can't unfortunately skip the voting cutscenes, so you need to see this happen every time. They do also like to pause. You can't fast forward the fade to black either. So the reason why this next map is safe for both golden and non-golden paths is that I don't use any of the hawk statues that are placed around the map. When we get in there, you will see a couple of hawk statues, which if you break one of the hawk statues, it will destroy a bunch of houses in the Wolffoot domain, and it will cause the area that it's targeting to go up in flames. So you need to keep those intact if you're going to do the golden ending, and we will, but in this case we're just doing Roland's ending, which won't matter, but again, the next map is faster after this one. A little bit of setup coming up. I'm going to be bringing in a few characters because I didn't need to use a bunch before. Okay, there is a lot that need to go out. So this particular map, that we're going to do, we're going to be utilizing a different strat. We're going to be using Ezana here, who is a weather mage, and Quahag to use his time powers to stop everything. So we just need to, at this point in time, chip down a lot of the enemies, because Ezana is going to do a huge AoE, which will target all enemies. Unfortunately, that AoE does not do enough damage to kill everyone in one shot, so we do need to chip down anyone who's got high magic defense. Normally those are mages, and some swordsmen, and obviously the boss also has high HP as well. So right now we're just chipping down everyone here. And we want the enemies to form in a particular way, which is why we're chipping down a lot of the other enemies for now. Serenor does nothing. Alright, so a couple of things that we need to do to boost Ezana's attack for her big AoE is to cause it to rain in the area. So she's making it rain right now. And on Quahag's next turn, we are going to use stop time. It's actually optimal if a character dies because it's one less character to go through the stop animation. So here is stop time. So all characters are currently stopped, both enemies and friendly units. And the reason why we want to use stop time is because Ezana's AoE usually has a 30% chance to hit. If it's hitting a character that is stopped, then that hit chance becomes 100% instead. So the other little thing that we need to do is use in tandem on Quahag's turn, and we'll also need to boost her attack again with an enchanting spice, because even with the extra boost of her with the rain, it's still not quite enough to kill everyone. But it is if we do that. And the reason why we use the Ezana Quahag strat there is because there's actually 2 reinforcements that turn up once you kill a certain amount of enemy units. So we don't want both of those reinforcements to turn up, so we use this strat instead, which if you clear all enemy units with the same attack, it counts as the map being cleared and no need for enemy reinforcements to turn up. The next fight coming up, or map coming up, is a fight against Rufus. So Rufus, we actually beat up 3 times in the course of a regular playthrough, well, a non-Golden Path playthrough. So the first time he's coming to try and take Roland away by force from us. But we don't want that, so we're going to beat him down. But every single time he comes to us, he doesn't seem to learn his lesson. There is also a convictions vote right here, but luckily for us, the vote option that we want is the default one, so we can skip straight through. So I think I've explained the major strats that is used in the game so far. There's one which I won't be using, which is a fleet-footed bug, which I won't get into here. There's a couple of weird instances that will turn up throughout the game, but that's basically everything. It's fun to complete some of the maps a bit differently than what you may do casually. I did sink, I think, an easily 30 hours casually when I did my first blind playthrough. And I've just kept playing the game and now speedrun it. And the fact that this game is on PC now makes me super happy because the load times are so much faster and the frames are also so much nicer. In the previous map, if you use the fire traps at all, on Switch it would actually cause the Switch to lag. Just because the Switch can't handle it very well. But on PC it actually runs really smoothly and there's no lagging or frames when the fire pits get used. Alright, so we're bringing Erika all the way down here. Rufus is that guy with the big club there. For some reason he doesn't do anything when you bring Erika down here, he just has a bit of a chat. We want Erika to go again and the map will be done. coming up, we've got another Scales of Conviction vote. So this is an interesting vote that is coming up. So some characters, so the dilemma here is we are tasked to deliver salt. So salt is normally from Hyzant. And they, you know, take care of the shipments, they measure out who gets what, etc. So they've asked us to deliver an illegal salt shipment to Esfrost. So our vote is to either deny them the request and find evidence of these illicit salt tradings, or we deliver the salt and we deliver the salt and end up telling them, well, we tell them to, we did it. So the reason why we want to go deliver the salt is because the map is faster. A fun little fact here. So the reason why you see Roland put on a hat and mask is regardless of whether or not you, well, it depends on what you did in Chapter 7. So in Chapter 7, where you had the choice to defend him or give him up, that cutscene is the same regardless of what your decision is. So if you gave him up, that cutscene was for him to say, oh, he's back, he's rejoined the party. They didn't change that if you defended him, so you have to see him put on a hat and mask. Now, the downside of that is he actually unequips his accessories. So we'll need to re-equip him because those accessories are important. Luckily for us, we only need to re-equip him once, and that's during Chapter 14, which is much, much later. So we can ignore him for now. Yes, it is much faster to do Chapter 9 than it is, to deliver salt than it is to find evidence. There's a lot of cutscenes that play in the alternate route for this chapter, and the other thing with the other route as well is that it's got a lot of verticality. It's a very tall map, and it's difficult to route a good time for it. The next map is in Rain, which does have a lot of RNG involved in terms of there are puddles on the ground which affects your movement speed, so you can't move through certain areas, at least not as far as you might like because of the rain. Erika also does less damage when it's raining as well, but it's not a big deal. She will still kill most enemies with one attack, which is her Blazing Chains attack. I tend to get the positioning of the units wrong in this map, but they are all good, I believe. So So you can see here that we are fighting Trish and Travis again, so the bandits from the first map. They have attacked us, they want to get the salt. Oh, whoops. We'll just load the quick save here. So it is faster to, the reason why Benedict did nothing is because there is a setting where you don't choose the positioning of your characters if they're on a safe tile. I accidentally hit the end turn, which made him stop instead of using 2-4 turn, which is what I intended for him to do. Yeah, so we're just manipulating where some of the characters go. So we're gonna get rid of Trish here. There is a bit of a funny thing that happens with the camera on this map. It doesn't like it for some reason. It gets a little bit weird. Yeah. I don't know why it's always this map in particular that does it. It just does, and I can't deal with it being like the way it is, so I do have to change it back. Otherwise I get a little disoriented. Yep, so while the map is quite big in this one, and there's RNG with how the rain puddles go, it is just better to do this map. There's a bit less involved with the cutscenes, and you don't have to answer a bunch of questions, which does happen in the alternate path. We have another vote coming up. Again, it's another default vote, so we can skip straight through. The next fight, though, is we'll be fighting Rufus. So it's an arena match, which is on a fairly small platform. Rufus is a mercenary, so he tends to go to whoever's the highest bidder is. But this is the second time we will beat him down. The voting is also in Esros territory, so you get to see a little bit of a different background here. Also, with this next map, we'll be coming up to halfway through the game already. So there's 20 chapters in total, so 21 if you're doing the golden route. And it's only been about 40 minutes. We just need to clear everyone. Oh, hold on. We just need to clear everyone in this map, so it's not too hard. And we are officially halfway through. We're gonna get some money here so we can't skip this cutscene. With this next map coming up, we have a choice to defend the Roselle or give them up. So the fastest route is to defend, which is also the default vote. And the reason why we want to defend the Roselle is because Chapter 12 is basically a non-exist map. You don't fight anyone in Chapter 12 if you defend the Roselle. You just go through, you're supposed to go through and find some clues and evidence to salt existing outside of Hyzant. So we get a brief look into how the Roselle are treated at Hyzant, which is quite sad. They believe that they are sinners. Well, the Roselle are sinners, and they need to repent for their sins. Whoops. So Hyzant want us to give them the Roselle in the Wolflet domain, but we don't want to do that because it's morally correct not to do so, and it's also faster. And this will be the third time that we are going to fight Rufus, so he comes through pretty quickly in the game. There is a little bit of setup involved in this particular map. There will be reinforcements as well. So with this map, we're going to be using the Sunfall strat, just because it is faster than the Ezana Quahag one. Okay, we need Maxwell. We don't need We need Quahag and we need Archer. The reinforcements will turn up now. Yeah, like I said, I did test this using both strats and it was faster just to use this way, which was found by Groval. So all of those enemies should line up pretty nicely for us. There's a little bit of RNG involved with where they get placed though. Okay, and I should clear up a lot of these. Yep. And then Max will finish the rest. There's going to be a lot of cutscenes being skipped and some voting being skipped coming up. There's not much to go through in terms of battles and things, because the next map that comes up is also really fast. The win requirement of the Chapter 13 map is to get all enemies out of a certain area. So normally the Chapter 13 vote would be to choose between 3 different paths, which then would change the next fight. So with Chapter 13, we want to blow up the dam, which does cause a lot of damage to the city, but it's the fastest, and also the fight after blowing up the dam is also another fast fight. And also that was chapter 12 done as well. That's all there is to that chapter. Like I said, because it's New Game Plus, we've got everything we need. So all information that we collected previously, all characters that we've collected, any of their stats that you've upgraded, they all carry over into New Game Plus. So there isn't a hell of a lot that we really need to do. During this entire period of cutscenes happening, you'll see people doing some scouting around just to get some information. We're trying to reclaim the castle, and we're using that with the help of an item called Elfric, which we get from a Hyzant. So the three choices that we have upcoming is to destroy the dam, which is what we want to do. We can destroy the bridge to the castle to trap everyone inside, or we can destroy some ships, which will get rid of their escape route if they did want to leave. The other thing I probably should mention about conviction choices is that characters have their own bias, even if you can't see it, which is why when you go to the default vote in certain maps, even if you don't talk to them, they'll always vote a particular way. We are almost there at the map to clear off the enemies. A lot of lead up and story happening right now, which we're not seeing. So in this exploration phase, we want Serenoa to talk to a bunch of people and get rid of the lights. So if your character is spotted in the lights, they'll alert everyone and call reinforcements. It doesn't matter if we actually call reinforcements in this one because they're not the focus of the map anyway. So we're going to be using Quahag in this particular one to get the enemy out of the area. We just need to get rid of some fast characters. You can't get rid of Milo, unfortunately, because she is a forced deploy. So yeah, if you did all of the exploration in this area, 3 out of the 4 lights would be off, but we don't care about them. I'm gonna zoom through in just a second. So we've been spotted, and that's the map done. It was quite fun doing this map, because you just zoom all the way across. And this is where we're going to actually need to re-equip Roland with the accessories that he he took off when he supposedly rejoined the party. There is an upcoming cutscene which we can't skip most of. We have to see the dam destroy the entire city. So anything major map changing like this, we can't skip, unfortunately. This is the only one where we can't skip until it's done. This next fight coming up is going to be fairly quick as well, so there are 2 bosses in it. Their names are Thalas and Erika. They are Frederica's siblings. And if you ever look at their portrait, they are pretty evil looking. So So we're going to move Frederica up here so that she can be in place to get Thalas and Erika in the correct position. And we're going to use twofold turn again. So Roland has the highest physical attack of any character. So he can kill most bosses in one hit. Sometimes he does need a little bit of help. There is also a chance, even if he's doing a back attack, that he'll miss, which is upsetting at times. But there's always backup things that we can do to help boost that. Chapter 15 is also going to be a quick map. So it's another three-way vote split, but in this particular case, the vote split that we want to do is stay in Glenbrook City, because the choice is, well, the victory condition of the map is to defeat one boss, and that boss is Pattriate. If you go to any of the other maps, it's defeat all enemies, which is a lot slower. It is required for the golden ending as well to go to another map, but we don't need to do that in this case. We do need to convince Anna to vote the way we want them to, though. And here we're just looking at the devastation that flooding the city has caused. While we have retaken Glenbrook, it's still a bit sad overall, the tone of the area. Okay, so we need to talk to Anna. In each pathway as well, there's a character that you unlock. So before we start the battle itself, we'll get a little cutscene of a character joining. And we can't skip this one because Benedict and Frederica are leaving. Here is where we'll also change tactics a little bit. So this entire time we've had Frederica equipped with the Vanguard Scarf. From now on, we'll have Quahag equipped with it, so that he can do a lot of manipulating of units and enemy bosses. It's also a good time to do it because Frederica left and unequipped it. So we unlock Cordelia here, who is Roland's sister. But she's a healer, and we do not unfortunately use her. This map casually for me was pretty daunting. It took me a lot of tries to actually complete it. And that was because I was completing it, I guess, properly by defeating as many enemies as I can before actually cutting down the boss. When I didn't need to do that, I didn't figure that out till much later. So, that is chapter 15 done. We are 3/4 of the way through the game. We've got 5 chapters left. This next map coming up is the Mines map. So if you remember anything of the Mines map previously in chapter 4, it was quite small. There have been mining operations going on, which has expanded it quite a bit. The map itself is pretty interesting because there are minecarts around which you can ride. And we do utilize that a little bit with dealing damage to enemies. So if there's an enemy on the rail track, you do damage to them. And we're going to be using the Quahag Ezana combo to clear off all the enemies in one hit. If you don't do this, there are actually 3 sets of reinforcements that turn up around the area. It is a lot bigger than it was before, which makes it difficult to get around. So we want to use that combination to clear them all off. I think it's pretty cute in this cutscene when Anna goes into the map in the minecart and just goes on a little joyride. Going to be concentrating again while I get characters in and re-equipped with some things. We don't actually need him. So yeah, this area is huge now, so we want to chip off, again, enemies that have high magic defense. So there's a couple of healers in the area, and a couple of swordsmen which we'll need to chip down. We also want to move Benedict up here so that he can tempt that swordsman to come down. If you don't, then there's a chance that he'll move in the opposite direction of where we want. So go all the way down here. So there's that healer, and there's this battle mage. Now, if any of the bombs go off, that's actually a losing condition of this map, but all of them won't because we'll be killing them all shortly. We still need to do everything we need to do, we still need to boost Ezana's magic attack. The good thing about this one is that Ezana and Quahag's turns are right next to each other, so there's a lot less waiting. I also like how it's raining underwater and underground in the mine map. Ezana just causes a bunch of anomalies to happen. So chapter 17 is a turning point for the story. There isn't an actual fight other than with the menu boss. And we need to make a decision on where we want to go or whose path we want to follow. We're doing, again, Roland's path today. And we want to convince Eridor to go the path we want to. It will cause a tie in the vote, but it's still faster than having to go through the different menus to convince someone. We've made the discovery that in the mines is a bunch of is a salt source. So the salt isn't just confined to Hyzant anymore, and we need to decide what we want to do with it. If we follow Roland's path, we are committing the Rizal to eternal slavery. But everyone will be united under Hyzant, under the Hierophant. And everyone will be pretty much happy, other than the Rizal. So, you know, sacrifice a few for the greater of many. Roland's path is also the fastest, so out of the 3 remaining fights, 2 of them are defeat a singular boss. The one in between the 2 bosses though, so there's a boss fight, then defeat all enemies, then a boss fight. It's just that the middle one is quite long. But the one coming up next is quite short. We'll be defeating, I think, Svarog is his name, so Frederica's uncle. And Frederica permanently leaves the party because she doesn't agree with, well, she doesn't agree with what we've decided. It's not a perfect ending, which is what the Golden Path is. It is a ending. So we're storming Esros, basically. We're meeting first up at Twins Gate, which is where the battle will take place. It is normally a really high map, but we're going to circumnavigate that by using the Quietuses again. Hold on. It's not Svarog that we're fighting. Svarog is the very last map. I'm just remembering it now. His name is Sycras, I think is how you pronounce it. Sycras? We just want to move Roland all the way over here. So that was a fairly quick map, yeah. This next map coming up though, like I said, it is a big map. There's no reinforcements, but we're going to be using the Ezana Quahag combo, just because there's less RNG involved. There is some, but not as much. We're going to be also fighting Gustadolph, who is the boss of the area. There's a lot of enemies, there's a lot of verticality going on. And there's also a bunch of characters that I need to move around. Gila, Krish, need to add Archibald. Wait, he just goes here. And everyone's in position. Yeah, so not all enemy units will die. Oh, hold on. Anna's not in the right spot. I thought I moved her, but I think I missed it. I think I accidentally swapped Serenor. So we want to chip down the mages here. And also the swordsman. We can safely ignore the archers on the roofs there. And there's one last mage we can reach here. Now, there will be a mage and Gustadolph left over after we do what we need to do. After all of the waiting, there's not much we can do about that, unfortunately. I couldn't figure out a way to get it set up perfectly. But this is faster than previous times that I've routed this map. The song for this map is also pretty great. So I'm moving Quahag up for a particular reason, and that's to get some Milo in place. So yeah, there's 2 enemies left over, Gustadolph and that 1 healer there. A lot of the characters will be doing nothing, just because they're mostly out of reach. So we just want to move, oops, Marlowe all the way up here. Gustadolph is in a bad position, but we'll work with it. He's light wave. No, he's actually in a pretty good position. Okay. Except he had to waste that turn doing that. I don't think it's enough to kill him. It might be. Yeah. Good. This is great. Worked out better than I thought. Alright, we are coming up to the very last fight. It is going to be fairly quick. So the fight this time is with Svarog. So he's let loose. He's a bit mad that we've come to invade Esfrost and take them down. So he's turned over all of the ironworks and thought to destroy the city. We just need to do a bit of maneuvering. Oops, we need to give him some TP. And time will come up when the victory comes up on screen. So 1:16:47. My previous PB of this map was I think 140 or 139. So it's a pretty significant saving in terms of load times compared to Switch. I will be doing commentary on other runs at a later date.